Hello class. We are now going to talk about the adjusted trial balance. The adjusted trial balance is a new trial balance that you do after you have prepared the adjusting entries. Once you've prepared this trial balance, then you will be ready to do the financial statements. So while we're looking at a trial balance, I wanted to point a few things out. Notice how on a trial balance the numbers are really jagged and they seem to like jump around, like what's up with that? Here's why. So the trial balance is in financial statement order. So it starts out with the assets. So we have assets, and what type of balance, what's the normal balance for an asset? The normal balance for an asset is a debit. So that's why those are debits. Then we have accumulated depreciation, which is a contra asset. And a contra asset has a normal credit balance. Then we have our liabilities, still part of the balance sheet, all of our liabilities. Liabilities have a normal credit balance. Then we have equity, common stock, retained earnings, dividends. And then we start the income statement accounts, consulting revenue, and now expenses. So the trial balance works where we can actually prepare the financial statements directly from the trial balance. So this was your original trial balance before you did your adjusting entries. When we did our adjusting entries, this is how we put them on the trial balance. Now, when you add across, and whether you do a trial balance on the computer or not, when you use worksheets like this, you have to know how they work. When you add across, you have to be really careful. So here you have a debit. We didn't adjust anything, so we still have a debit. For accounts receivable, we had no balance. We added a debit of $1,800. So our total is a debit of $1,800. For supplies, we had a debit of $97.20. Our adjustment was a credit of $1,050. So a credit reduces the account balance. So our total balance is a debit of $8,670. So you have to be very careful, but you have check figures. The debits will always equal the credit. So here it is for the original unadjusted trial balance. Here's our adjustments, debits equal credits, and here's our adjusted trial balance, debits equal credits. So that's a good check figure. You can prepare the financial statements directly from the trial balance, which is like I was talking about. So here we have our assets and our liabilities and our equity. So here we just brought the assets straight over, brought the liabilities straight over, brought the equity straight over. Remember, we do the income statement first. The income statement we take from starting with consulting revenue all the way down. So this is our income statement, revenue and expenses. We get our net income of $37.85. Now the second thing we do, step 2, is we're going to do the statement of retained earnings. We start out with 0 retained earnings because we didn't have any, and we can see that here we have none. We're going to add net income, subtract dividends. Dividends are on here. So I go down here, and we get our retained earnings. Everything on the balance sheet comes straight off of the adjusted trial balance except for retained earnings, which comes from our statement of retained earnings. So you can prepare your financial statements directly from the adjusted trial balance.